ISO. What's up, Copy Squad? It's your boy Kyle Milligan coming to you live from Baltimore, Maryland with Jake Hoffberg of Financial Copywriting Academy.
I don't think I've thrown deuces since like college. I don't know why today was.
You were like, this is it.
This is it. I'm going to throw deuces on camera.
Deuces.
Right? So,
what up, folks?
We've had a couple of these things. I've had you on my show.
This is your first time.
This is my first time on your show, though.
Right. I'm now a guru, so I have a show.
You have a show.
And I go live daily, and I basically I ramble at length about like things tangentially related to copywriting.
Fantastic.
Well, what's cool is Jake has, let's give Jake a little credibility booster. First, buy my book. It's called Take Their Money. It's about KyleTheWriter.com.
You should definitely buy his book.
Yeah.
It's great.
KyleTheWriter.com/book. Go buy it now. I actually had someone email me today and say, my PayPal button has an issue. If anyone's had an issue with the PayPal button, please let me know. I'll switch to Stripe in a heartbeat. I will not tolerate that. But Jake actually has he has a couple Facebook groups dedicated to copywriting. He's moved to Slack recently.
Yes.
Do you want to kind of do it? Give the spiel about what you do?
Sure. So, for those of you who have no idea who I am, it's weird. Titles are weird here in Agora. They don't really mean a lot of things, but you could effectively call me like copy chief or publisher for one of the imprints inside of Agora Financial. So my job is to handle all of the money-making copy for the businesses that I work with. So like I am that person. I've probably trained and placed at least 10 writers into Agora Financial alone.
So that's where you help out these folks out here. Is you help beginner copywriters basically go from zero to job.
Yeah, and more specifically, zero to a job writing financial copy was where I did it. And then now I've merged my business with a friend of mine, and it's a little more broader. It's called The Sales Alchemist, and that focuses on a very specific style of copywriting. But the point is still the same. It's how do you go from 0 to 5K a month to 10K a month and then beyond. Right,
and that gives you like a unique sort of like vantage point. You have a unique perspective because for me, I can talk about the struggles that I encountered specifically on my linear one-person journey.
Yeah.
You encounter myriad people's struggles all the time because you have a bunch of people going from zero to now. Today in an email, I saw a person that Jake has worked with in the email for our new hires an email. She was introduced today. And I was like, right? Yes, Steffi, right?
Oh, yeah, Steffi, of course. I thought you meant like someone else emailed you.
No, she was in the email. I was like, that's that's one of your people.
I hired Steffi. Yeah.
Congratulations, Steffi.
So the reason why I'm here is Kyle's in town and we always hang out when he's here. And in general, right, I think we all get sold the six-figure copywriter myth.
Right, and what we're talking about today, we haven't tied it back. We're talking about the single biggest, what was it, mistake or weakness or something?
I think it's the single biggest mistake copywriters are making right now.
Right, let's see. The single biggest problem most copywriters face. That's what it was. And here's what happened. This video actually came from Jake was just ranting on the other side of the counter, and I was like, bro, I'm supposed to be live right now, and you're just ranting about new copywriter struggles.
Which, by the way, is like mostly what happens during food breaks. It's just me like ranting at people.
Jake can rant, and I don't always have content. I very rarely have content, so I was like, dude, just do it. Just rant.
Let's talk about the number one problem that most copywriters have, and it's making money. Let's get real. So less than 1% of all copywriters are making six figures, and there's typically a couple reasons why. So in no particular order. So one of them is going to be lack of skill, is that you don't actually have skill. And so if you feel like you have imposter syndrome and you also have no skill, you probably are in fact an imposter. But we're going to come back to that in a second. The second, oftentimes, is just pricing. It's you're not charging enough. And the reason why you're undercharging is also probably imposter syndrome, but let's assume that you can get results. Really the reason why you're not making more money, it's a prospecting issue, is that you're not going after big enough clients with deep enough pockets, or you're not going after businesses that are running traffic to an offer that could scale where you can make more royalties. So the advantage that someone like Kyle gets right off the bat is coming into Agora Financial is a lot of those problems are solved. And while it may not sound as sexy as make, mid six figures writing one email per day that you might have seen from some other copy guru offers. It's actually more practical because all Kyle has to do is just write copy, and then we have like a whole team that will scale it, and then you just get paid royalties.
Right, and
that's pretty sweet.
I've said a couple times, so to both your points, you don't have copywriting skill, I teach you copywriting skill in my book. Take Their Money, available at kylethewriter.com/book. You should check it out. So that's one point. The other point was about going and getting a job. And that's something that I feel like the terms like, there's a lot of shaming in getting a job. Yeah, it's like
strange.
That makes no sense because I got all my skill. I started writing copy at Agora, and that's where I learned pretty much everything that I know was by working beside. And this place is a powerhouse for just like A-list marketers and copywriters walk through this door daily. And
like Katie Vogel is in that office over there, who's the chief marketing officer effectively, and like
hanging out with
her is just like right over there.
And Rich Sheffrin was sitting in that stool right there, like earlier this afternoon. Yeah, so it's like
Rich is great. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like then people want to like shame people who aren't like you aren't like a thoroughbred entrepreneur and making it and all that stuff, or like you quit your job and then you just try to. I don't encourage that at all. I don't think that's safer. Like I really do. I called it going to copywriting school.
Yeah.
Anywhere you can go to a job and get a mentor and like learn the skills, you're going to be a good copywriter. You have more opportunities to fail faster. So that you can see what does and does not work.
So I would say the single biggest problem that most copywriters have, and really most people have. So here at Agora, we have a term called being long-term greedy. Right, and the idea is that
we do have that term.
We do have that term, right? That's the term that we have here.
Starting now,
and the point is so Kyle took a long-term greedy path. Is that instead of seeing it as a job, or that I'm going to get stuck in some cubicle writing from 9 to 5, well, that's not what the gurus promised me. What he did instead was say, where can I get paid to go learn?
Oh, that is
where
exactly
can I develop skills?
Yeah.
And then from there, where can I build relationships? So I did the same thing. I worked basically straight spec for Agora for like my first year, but I was willing to trade money now.
You want to define spec?
So spec, it would be speculative, meaning that you do the job first and then you get paid upon submission of the completed opportunity. Whereas most people really want to get paid upfront and in full for work they don't know how to do. So what I did to get started, which kind of comes to where most people is, I just did a lot of stuff on spec. Now, the asterisk on this whole thing was that I did spec work for Agora, a great quality client that I wanted to land. I did not do spec work for a startup business with no capital.
Okay.
Right? So the point of being long-term greedy is that if you're still in the stage where you're dabbling, right, and you're in another job, you're trying to like figure out how do I get this side hustle up, or how do I quit my job? If you're already fantasizing about being on the beach collecting those royalty checks and just doing nothing, you're fucked.
Yeah,
you're thinking about the wrong things right now.
Most of us don't dress as nice as Jake dresses, I'll say that. But there is like an element of, if there's very few people in the building who are successful are doing it for the Lamborghinis and the, like you said, like going to the beach. And no, most of us, like Jake is here all day like a regular worker person should be here. And then, I don't like the word should, but Jake does come in here and puts in his time. But then he goes home.
And I have my other business.
And then he goes home and does his other thing, right? He's not working. I mean, at one point, maybe, yeah, you'd probably like to relax and chill out and have a bunch of money.
I had fun.
But it was never like again, like you're saying, it's not, I wrote one email, I made 6 figures, and now I kick it, right? And I think that's the Twitter dream. I think that's specifically prevalent in Twitter, and I can't last more than 5 minutes on Twitter before I just like leave shaking my
Twitter in years at this point.
It's a weird place, dude. Oh, by the way, if you got any questions for Jake, because Jake does have like a massive like Facebook group and all sorts of stuff, you can leave them in the comments. Anything you want to know, and we'll cover those.
So let's talk about the stages that people go through. So most people start as consumers of products.
So right? Can we define really quick the single biggest problem?
The single biggest problem is really, it's your goal, right? So being long-term greedy, if you are in a position where you need money right now, right, that's a hard position to be in.
Usually, anytime you need something to work, it won't. If you need a win, you'll lose.
If you're banking on you're going to buy some info product on credit, and then in 30 days you're going to somehow turn that into cash, that's a hard one.
Right.
That's a real hard one.
And I'll come back to that too. Like when someone's like, "Yeah, I'm going to take out a loan and get your research videos." I have like a research upsell. I'm like,
please
no.
Don't.
I was like, you've got free stuff on YouTube. If you cannot afford the $12 book, you've probably got bigger problems. Like just like watch the free stuff and practice. And this is probably what you're getting into, is the physically writing the copy.
Yeah. So what we talked about is like what's the thing that's really going to move you from dabbling and buying and consuming information products to actually earning money as a copywriter? Well, it's really, really simple. It's you need to make offers to people so that they pay you money to write copy for them. I think that's it.
There's also the act. This is
and you have to write the copy,
right?
But
that's
how you get paid
I want you to harp on that.
Is you make someone an offer to do something for them. So, let's say that you're going to write daily emails for someone's company. Well, it'd probably be a good idea for you to write an email a day for 30 straight days before you go out and sell 30 days of email.
Yeah.
You probably want to make sure you can deliver the job. And so if you feel like an imposter, part of it is because you are an imposter. You don't know what you're doing. But like, if you don't feel comfortable selling a product or service, it's probably because you've never done it before. So the first step is why don't you do it, and do it for free. For anyone that will let you. And then you develop a track record. And by the way, like, if you can write every single day for 30 consecutive days for 1 hour a day, you are ahead of like 95% of people that I ever talk to that want to get a job here at Agora.
Thank you. That's like one of the huge things that, I mean, I stole this from Joe Schrafer, is there's 3 things you need to do, is just read a piece of copy, write a piece of copy, and come up with an idea every day. And again, it all comes down to like actually reading copy, writing copy. And another thing that we say constantly is don't read about copy, read copy. So it's the actual immersion, because my big thing is that the copywriting is a language, right? It's a professional language, like accounting is a professional language, like law is a professional language, and everyone who treats it as I write 1 email and get 6 figures is treating it like a get-rich-quick scheme. But if you treat it like a professional language, if you treat it like with the same respect and intensity that a lawyer treats law, then you can actually acquire that sort of scale and that sort of skill set. Mm-hmm. But it does come with immersion in the language, just like a lawyer would take a bar exam or an accountant would take a CPA exam. And it is that respect. I think that's a big word. It's like, they don't respect the skill, they want the money.
Yeah.
And to get good in the skill, to learn any language, you need to become immersed in it. And so for reading copy and writing copy is like the most direct way to get immersed. Not reading about copy. Like, would you read a book about the Spanish language, or would you read Spanish, right? Yeah. So I think that's another huge thing, is like, for sure, you've got to get action in the world of copy.
It's so I don't know if you've seen this. It's armchair copywriter, right? They've read all the books, they take all the courses, and usually they like to go into groups and ask people what their favorite book about copywriting is. Like, that fucking matters at all. And then
I did a video yesterday. Ooh, that's a linkable thing that we can do.
I'm gonna
link
that one.
I do that noise, and then when I'm rewatching the video, I know when. When I hear the bing, that's why I need to link. If everyone ever wonders why I do that,
that's why you do it.
I'm gonna link yesterday's video where I basically bitched about armchair copywriters without calling them that.
Yeah, armchair copywriters. And this is most people that you interact with. Most people who sell how to write copywriting courses are fucking terrible. Which is good. So, like, here's the deal.
Well, I mean, when it comes to marketing, perception is reality. So you don't actually have to have any sort of track record or
consider the following, though, right? Like, you make a full-time income from the skill that you teach people how to do. I make a full-time income from the skill that I teach people how to do. Most other people selling products about how to make money, they don't make their primary income from that skill.
They make it from the sale.
They make it from the sale of the info product. And so they teach a lot of theory and a lot of bullshit. Whereas, because, like, what's actually going to get you across the line, it's sitting your ass down and writing copy every day. Like, I'm sorry, that's it. That's what happens, is if you sit down and you write copy every single day, you will suck for a while. And eventually you will suck less, and then you will be good.
Well, dude, I sweat bullets the first time I started doing these videos. It would lock me up. Like, and when I would do a video and nobody would show up to the live, it would make me like, I would be like sprinting to get off the live as quickly as possible. But now I just accept that all of you guys hate me, and I'll just ramble for 10 minutes by myself. We do have a little comment here. James says, "Didn't think I'd see you two together. Thanks so much to both of you from what you've taught. I just landed an opportunity with a division at Agora Financial. If you need some testimonials, more than happy to provide." Well, that's a case study right there. That's awesome. Well, congratulations, dude. Way to go. Are you watching right now? Are you gonna be here tomorrow?
Yeah, you coming to the open house?
That's tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow and Friday? I don't know. So that is the single biggest problem is most people in general are way too shiny object, get rich quick, short-term focused, which is great as a marketer to sell people those things. But if your time horizon, if you're really thinking that developing this skill, you have like a map that over the next 3 to 5 years, I'm going to develop salesmanship, copywriting, leadership, recruiting, business. Those kinds of skills.
And again, in yesterday's video, I was talking about the armchair copywriters who read all the books and stuff. Those are the books that I think are something you should be reading. Don't be reading about how to write copy. Read about sales techniques, psychology, influence. I think those are actually
business.
That
how does
kind
a business work?
Yes,
because if you don't understand how a business makes money, right, it's going to be very difficult for you to talk to a business owner about how you're going to help them make more money with what you do.
Talk about imposter syndrome. Whenever the business owner asks you like a question and uses like some sort of shorthand like CTR or something instead of saying click-through rate or CPA for cost per acquisition or something, then you look like a deer in headlights. He's going to basically be like, okay, well, that's supposed to be your wheelhouse and you don't know what you're doing and I'm not going to hire you. So again, you're talking to people who are running businesses and they're going to speak the language of an entrepreneur who runs a business.
Also, if you have a more long-term focus, you're going to understand that this is largely about relationships. And it's very appealing, the idea that, I'm going to write one package, get paid 20 grand up front, make $1 million in royalties, and take a vacation for the year, like whatever. That's just not how that shit works. Usually, like before that was like 6 or 10 packages that bombed. And we have one winner that actually went anywhere. And so, but if you're not in it for the long term and you don't have enough swings, like you're never ever going to get the hit. You're never going to get the home run. And you're also never going to get hit. You're never going to get the singles along the way that just move you month to month to month, paycheck to paycheck, a little bit here. And that's just the reality. Like the more hits you take, the more
the singles versus the home runs. Like the singles aren't sexy and the singles don't sell, but the singles put food on the table. And like many people won't write books about the singles, but they'll earn you a living, right? And they'll also be like, it is a numbers game, and the numbers game angle doesn't sell. It's not sexy either. Like, you gotta. I think the statistic is something like 2 out of 6 or 8 promos should actually convert.
The best writers here at Agora are 1 and 4. Like Agora is 1 and 4.
Okay.
Like of all the main.
I try not to name names. Unlike what people make or what their promos do.
The best copywriter by revenue in Agora Financial is probably like a 1 and 4 hit rate, but he just outproduces.
He produces
every other copywriter. Like that's legit the secret. He just wrote more copy packages than anyone else in 2018 and 2017, and shocker. And because he took idea to execution to shippable product faster than anyone else did, it means his ideas are more timely. They were ahead of the competition versus someone who takes 3 months to write a package and it's stale. So. But again, Waldo's been doing this for 10 years, right? So like he's our #1 copywriter here at Agora.
Mr. X.
Mr. X.
So James responded to us, not at the open house, live in the UK, doing some contract work first, and if things go well, I've been told I'll be invited over for 3 weeks. Good reason as I need to visit the US. I had another subscriber email me recently, and he was asking about trying to get over here on visa, and I know the visa issue is kind of hard, so if you can do it from the UK and get here, maybe he can too. I'd be interested to know more information about that for sure, because plenty of folks are trying to come international to come work here, so if I can figure out a way to make that happen.
Yeah, the inevitable issue is like getting visas is hard, so if you can figure out how to get one yourself and just become eligible, it's easy to say yes. Otherwise, we do have a small UK division too.
Yeah, I guess that's what James is too.
With limited spots available because that size of the business is not as big as the US one.
Yeah, I have no clue about that stuff. I think another thing that you mentioned and you touched on is we're getting off track a little bit, but you said relationships, and I think personally that's where I've struggled tremendously is building relationships that I probably should, or this guy's just a drinking buddy, but he actually has like a 2,000 person Facebook group that I've never once tried to tap into for myself. I'm just like, cool group, bro.
Cool group, bro.
But I got this book and I promote it to death, and I've never once asked Jake to help out. I probably should. So yeah, I guess relationships. I think relationships, and I think it's another thing is I don't think I want to ask So what would, let's say you could say it's your advice for me as a guy who I don't want to ask. I don't want to make the ask. Like I'm like, look, I do the YouTube videos, I write copy, et cetera, et cetera. Look at me, I'm a big guru. But at the end of the day, dude, I'm just a dude. Like I struggle with imposter syndrome like most people. I don't want to ask him to promote the book, even though I pitch it 17 times. It's called Take Their Money, available at kylethewriter.com/book. And if the PayPal button doesn't work for some reason, let me know. That's very important.
Too good. Well, so this kind of comes back down to like where your focus is, right? Is where like a lot of people, you get stuck, I get stuck, other people get stuck. Is the fantasy of having business just come to you and never having to deal with like people, because dealing with people is messy, right? Like that's inconvenient, and that doesn't sound like passive income. But in the beginning, you have active income, right? And like it or not, if you have clients, like that's someone you have to work with, and you have to be able to work with their team, right? And if they like you, they'll pay you more because they like you, and that's like the basis of sales.
And
right?
speaking like of working with their team, even as a dude working over here, in my first gig in copy was Agora Financial, learning to work with the marketing team, the legal compliance team, and the production and designers. Yeah, that was all uphill for me. Like I said, my weakness is relationship building. My weakness is usually like the interpersonal stuff, and it took me a couple months just to learn. And this is something I've preached in many videos. One of the lessons, I think it's I have a top 10 lessons from Agora Financial. Bing! I'm gonna link that on YouTube. On YouTube, this is live on Facebook. And one of the lessons I learned was I'm not just convincing the reader with persuasion and copywriting. I have to convince my copy chief. All right, so I have to convince up, down, left, and right. All right, there's people on all sides of me, between like I got to work side by side with marketers and production, and these people are busy and have their own schedules and motivations. And you have to always be convincing them. It's your job, just do it. That never, like that's
not effective.
Yeah, like this is what you get paid to do, so do it. Like being a professional persuader, that's why copywriting is a skill set that is totally transferable across every avenue of life. When you learn that you can't tell someone that they're wrong, or that nothing is their fault. Like when you learn these basic life lessons, your life will get easier. Not just that here's one of the things I was talking about with someone today, is like, it's not just that I can't tell you that it's not your fault, or I can't tell you that you're wrong. I have to understand the words to say if you are in fact wrong. Like I need those tools in my belt so that when you are wrong, I know the correct way to try and fix this situation without coming out and saying, you dumb boy, you don't know what you're talking about, right?
Although very tempting.
Yeah, and it's so easy. And I grew up with that environment. I grew up in a world where you're a damn idiot. Like, is that how you say you're wrong to somebody? Like that was how we talked, right? That's like the only way I knew to communicate. And it wasn't until I started writing copy and I realized you can't say stuff like that to people. They will shut you out in a heartbeat.
Headline: you're an idiot. Keep reading to fix it. That just doesn't work.
Yeah, like that's why the hero stories always say, I was there, I did what you did, I tried all the products, I tried all the courses, I did this and that. Because imagine if your hero story went something like, oh, you bought all those courses? That was stupid. Yeah.
You should buy mine now.
Right. So that was definitely one of the harder lessons, is that you're constantly, your persuasion isn't just like you the reader. Persuasion is you to the folks above you laterally, and even if you move up in ranks, the folks below.
So when I was in direct sales, for those of you who don't know me, I did door-to-door sales for a while, and then telesales, and I was in direct sales for like 8 years. I think you did direct sales for at least
on
the phone, and you probably saw this. Like, there'd be people who are afraid of the phone.
I mean,
right?
It's not fun.
But like the point is though, is that people have real fear asking other people for money.
I think that's kind of where we were with that conversation. Got derailed. Was like, I did not want to ask you for help with the book and the promotion and all that stuff.
It's almost, if we really connect the dots to the end here, is you're like, arguably it's being uncomfortable asking for help and then asking for money.
Yeah.
Right. Because like asking people, as soon as you ask someone for money, like now it's weird for most people. Unless you're a professional salesperson, because that's your fucking job. Like, my job is to make offers to people and get them to, like, give me some money. This is my fucking job. And if you're going to be a professional copywriter, that's your job too. And you just got to get over the fact that you're going to have to sell. What you do is sell. What you do is make offers. And relationships are no different. Getting clients is no different. Getting people to trust you, because at some point there's always that leap of faith where you kind of just have to like sell someone and collect some cash, and then now you got to deliver it, and that's like, I don't know, man. That's where greatness comes in, is zero options mentality. Because as soon as someone's paid you to do something and perform a professional service, like, you got to do it now. There's no turning back.
Yeah.
Because refunds are not good. Refunds are not good. Don't give I don't want to refund people, right?
So you think leap of faith, like for people who are afraid to ask?
Eventually, like you have to, and so this comes back to another big problem, right? Is fear of failure, fear of rejection, and most of what we do is failure. Most of what we try does not work, and if you're having problems getting clients, chances are is that your biggest fear is getting rejected and having someone tell you no, because you ask them for money, which you're already uncomfortable doing, and you feel weird, and you don't want to be salesy, and but I'm not a salesman. It's like, yes, you fucking are. You're a salesman. Just get over it.
Yeah. Call it persuader if it makes you feel better.
But this is where like a lot of these problems come up is you're just not comfortable asking for what you want, and now we have like several problems. But again, at the top of the arc, if you were thinking long term, right? If you were thinking a long term vision for what your life looks like, and this is just like step one of many, you'll do it, or at least it'll have context. You'll be like, all right, I'm willing to be bad at this for 6 months.
Accept being bad. Accept being bad. And that's again, that's kind of one of the things that I came back to about. I made a little joke about Jake's sharp dressing and his nicely done hair, and well, what I'm saying is like, be cool with like just being a nobody. Like, you don't have to be flashy. You don't have to have a Lamborghini or be at the beach. Like, you have to be cool being a nobody, and just like Gary Vee says, eat shit. Like, just work hard and be bad at something until you're good.
There's kind of like, this is how it works. And like, again, there's always a leap of faith, right? There is, at one point you had never written a package, and then you had to write your first one.
Yep, and that package got rewritten probably 4 times.
Yep.
Like, it got torn apart by every person from my end all the way to production. Like, everybody who touched it, it got destroyed. Yeah. That ended up being the hottest IPO. Oh,
okay. And then there's the next level, right? Is you have an early success, and now you're expected to follow up on that, and you're like, shit, can I do it?
That's where imposter syndrome comes
in again. And then, but like, and every time you move up a level, there's a new challenge that's outside of your current skill set. So like, get used to this feeling of like, oh shit, I don't know if I can do this, and it makes me uncomfortable. Think about the copy, right? Like, the best copy is the ones that make you like, I don't know if I can fulfill on this promise. Like, this is a really, really big promise. Those are the best ones. When you're scared, like when the legal department is terrified of the promises that you're making to these people, they're like, I don't know if we could do this. Like, that's the winning copy. You're at the same point, right? It's like when you're at that place where it's like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, can I really ask someone for $5,000 a month? So, what's up, Joe?
Printed, nice color copies.
Cool, nice.
We're live right here, brother. No sensitive information.
Oh, that's all good.
Oh, do you want me to leave?
No.
As a matter of fact, you want to come on and say hello to all the...
I got video set up for tomorrow, by the way.
Okay,
so
cool.
I'm going to go for that.
I'm not going to get on video, but let me tell you this real quick. Old team, high to low. This could be something you show your team right now.
So, yeah, what do we got here?
These are the 12 behavioral characteristics.
All right. Oh, that's interesting.
That our type of copywriters, the high-performing copywriters, have demonstrated ranked high to low. The 12 behavioral characteristics. So if you think about Billy Bean and Moneyball and Oakland Athletics, about how you evaluate a baseball player based on hidden statistics, they're the hidden statistics of copywriting.
Yeah.
Number one competency, number one behavior is competitive, urgency, and then down below.
Yep, so here it is again.
That's pretty cool, man.
Competition, urgency, willing to handle frequent change, and is versatile.
Hey, Aaron, I'll give you something real quick. This is the reports, as you know, for everybody coming in over the next 2 days.
Awesome. Yeah. Some cool collateral stuff or whatever.
So I'm planning for a recruiting event we're doing tomorrow where we're recruiting copywriters, and my job is to screen and evaluate them. So we've got a bunch of toys and tools and heat maps and all kinds of stuff. So it's
nothing like sensitive information, I hope.
Well, nothing I showed
names or anything.
But so I've got this whole sheet that I got to go through. But the point is, get the fuck to work. Think long term, write every day.
Long term greedy, I think, is the long term greedy. I hope this was informative, Copy Squad. I think we're gonna go ahead and sign off now because people are starting to pile in, and it's 30 minutes now at this point. If you got any questions, do feel free to drop them below, and me or Jake will respond. check out my book. It's called Take Their Money. It's available at kylethewriter.com/book. Let me know if the PayPal button gives you any trouble. Facebook message me. Do whatever you got to do. YouTube message me. I don't care. Like, I do not want to be losing money because my PayPal button doesn't work. All right. That's it. I pitched my book.
That's it. 7 times?
Yeah, right? That's got to be 7. All right, something like that.
Something like that.
Don't deuces.
Deuces.
Peace out, Copy Squad.